Hey you. I have been an avid thrifter now for about 8 or 9 years. It is one of my favorite pastimes, and as someone who's super passionate about home decor and home design, I find it to be both fun, fulfilling, and rewarding. There are few things that I love more than coming home with this piece I just can't believe I found and getting to redecorate and redesign my space to incorporate it. I also think that as a renter, thrifting is not only a vital way, but a cheap way to turn a space into your own, particularly where it pertains to bringing color to a space. We are all familiar with the landlord special, which of course is all white everything. And not only that, but also scuffs and poorly filled in holes, if the holes are even filled in at all. Not to mention that at my age, I am not buying all new furniture that is tailored to my taste. Most of my furniture is either hand-me-downs from my family or something I purchased secondhand. So thrifting has not only allowed me to introduce color to my space, but has also allowed me to make my space uniquely mine. Some people, and I will never understand, are so against thrifting, calling it dirty or just saying that we're collecting other people's junk. And to those people, not only do I say, have you never cleaned anything ever? Or perhaps eaten in a restaurant from a fork that 1 billion other people have eaten from. But I also say that I personally cannot fathom spending heaps of my own hard-earned money to buy something that's brand new when there's so much quality stuff with so much character that already exists out there in the world. The landfills do not need my help getting filled. I will always buy secondhand where I can. So, without further ado, here are some of my favorite things in my space that I have thrifted. And for the purpose of this video, I'm including things I also got from Facebook Marketplace, alongside things I picked up at a traditional thrift store. I'm gonna start with my incense setup. This is one of my favorite things I have ever found, and it is this glass house jar, and the glass is really thick, which leads me to think that it's probably an older piece. So I keep that on my bedside, and I keep it with incense sticks so that they're always at my disposal and they're easy to reach. And when that jar is empty of incense sticks, well, I just hop over to my other incense holder, which hangs on the wall, and it's what I keep my packages of unopened incense in. Now, I do have 2 incense holders. Both are thrifted and both are super cool in their own right. Of course, I have this gorgeous blue tiled one that I keep beside my bed. And then I have this really cool, funky frog one that I keep in the living room. And I just think he's so funny and he's so personable. And I always get compliments on him when people come over. In a similar vein is actually my candle setup, which you can see here. I have this cello or violin jar, and when I saw it in the thrift store, I just knew I had to have it to hold my pillar candlesticks. It's really cool, and I like the way that the wax drips around it and you can still see what shape it is. I also thrifted this jar. I think it's like a pot holder, and all of my pillar candlesticks are also thrifted. And I saw once, I think a TikTok video that said, why are we hiding our cool candlesticks away? We should just leave them on display until they're burned. So I loved that idea, and that's what I did with all of my candlesticks because they're so colorful and it's a really cool way to bring a little something more to this space. I got this pink glass rabbit as well. It is traditionally a tea light candle holder, but I thought I wanted to repurpose it DIY a little bit. So I keep my matchsticks in it that I use obviously to light the candle, and then on the bottom I cut out the striking strip from a matchbox and I just glued it to the bottom of the rabbit, and now I can use the rabbit itself as not only a match holder but a striker as well. Now moving over to things I have in the bedroom, my most recent thrift find actually is this authentic Mexican mirror. Now I will concede that the mirror itself is a little wonky. It makes things look wider than they are, but I really love how it looks in that space, especially hanging above all my jewelry. So if I try things on, I can see kind of how it looks with the outfit. Now just below the mirror, we have my IKEA white dresser that is kind of broken, overstuffed, and I've had since my first year of university. I got this really cool orange and yellow scarf one day, and I just knew it looked so pretty draped over it, and it especially looks so nice now with that mirror, with all of my jewelry, all of my perfumes, and my little trinkets on top of it. I think it really ties the whole thing together. Now, I am always on the hunt for anything celestial. I'm obsessed with it, the whimsigoth of it all, and when I found these vintage vintage party light candle holders, I was obsessed. Now, I did remove the candlestick holder part to use them as hooks. That's just personally how I prefer to use them. And I have them hung on either side of the bed. I actually, a few months later, did find one more. I have that hanging in my hallway as a candlestick holder. If and whenever I find these in the thrift store again, I will be picking them up. I'm just obsessed with them. Now, this last thing transcends to multiple rooms of the house. I found these really cool, colorful placemats, and I've used them to drape over the sides of the bedside tables. So the bedside tables came with this apartment. They're not cute. Covers that weird orange brown. I also have one of these placemats on my desk, which again is also boring white IKEA furniture, as well as one here in the living room, which I have on top of the coffee table to bring more color to it. My dad recently just gifted these to me as he doesn't need them anymore. So he's just gifted this coffee table, this TV stand, and the side table that I have my record player on. And they're gorgeous. Obviously, it's really nice quality furniture, but it's so dark. I found ways to bring color and life to it. So I guess now that we're already talking about the living room, let's move on to there. I found this really cool hanging orange lantern that I used to put little battery-powered tea lights in at night. Next up, keeping to the celestial theme, is this cool blue moon candle holder. I'm not actually sure. I've never used it for that purpose. I just think it's gorgeous and I like to have it out. Another very recent find is actually what I'm sitting on right now. It is like a yoga / sitting pillow, so it's been really good for stretching, but I also thought it makes for like a cool extra seat in this den. As we don't have a lot of room in here, we can only fit the one small couch, so this is just like a fun extra seat, and I actually have found it very beneficial for my nighttime yoga. We also have Sprite's mat that I keep her food and her water bowl on. The food bowl is also thrifted. It matches some things in the kitchen that we will get to later, as well as this jar that we keep her stick toys in. It's worth like $60 or something crazy, and I'm using it to keep cat toys in. Next up, we have our gardening box. My partner is obsessed with Van Gogh. Particularly Cafe Terrace at Night is his absolute favorite painting in the world. When I found this box, I was like, I don't know what we're gonna use it for, but we need it. And then we have our side table. That was just a shitty wooden side table that I spray painted this color to make it fit into the space more. And then we have this really cool rug that has come with us to so many apartments. We move apartments a lot, and it never fails to tie the space together. I love it so much. Next, we're doing this as if we're walking through the house. We are moving down through the hallway. I found, once upon a time, a Polaroid camera, and I had no idea if it worked, but it was like $4 at Value Village, and I was like, absolutely, you're coming with me. And it worked. I have used it for years now. I'm so stoked that I found this, and I have so many good memories on film now because I found this camera. In addition, I have this money pot that I have had for years and years and years, and I've never opened it because the only way to open it is to smash it with a hammer. That's like the appeal of how you save money. And the store I originally got it from is closed down, and I can no longer find the website for it either. So when I found another one at a thrift store, even if I'm not ready to break open my original money pot, I now know I have a backup, because that was like a big holdup for me for a long time about breaking this original one, is that I didn't know where I could ever find another one again. It's probably maybe not the one I would have bought myself if I had a ton of options, but I do think it's pretty. It makes me think of Twilight a little bit. Next up is one of my most prized possessions ever, and it's this little witchy wizard Boyd's bear. So my mom and I think my nana always had Boyd's bears around. So when I saw this on the shelf, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how cute it was, that I'd never seen it before, and how well it fits in with the theme of my apartment. And it was the easiest buy of my life. It is easily one of my most prized thrift finds. Style, taste, and decor belong in every room of the house, including the bathroom. That's why my partner and I have these personalized toothbrush holder cups that I just love so much. I think they're so representative of us each. And I also have this cool like early 2000s jelly frog lamp that I love so much. I use it as a nightlight at night. It's got a really cool yellowy green glow to it. And I also have this mat that I got from my restaurant that I work at when they stopped using them. There's a few of them around the house, and I just couldn't let them go to waste. They're such a fun and easy way to add color. You can just pop it under anything, and here I've decided to pop it under a garbage can because why not? Moving on to the kitchen, and there's actually more in here that is thrifted than one might think. Starting off with this cool orange nightlight. I just love it. It's so dainty, it's so cute. There was a matching blue one once upon a time, and I actually don't know what ever came of it. Next to the nightlight, I have my orange bowl set up, as I call it. I've got a number of orange bowls here. I keep fruits and veggies in 2 of them. In the smaller one, I keep sweets. I also have this really cool vintage mushroom canister that I use to keep my green onions in, because if you don't know, you can have eternal green onions if you just put them in water. I also have a matching one of these on my bookshelf that I keep an aloe vera plant in. They come from a really cool set that I would love to find, and traditionally they have lids on them, but when I found these in the thrift store, there were no lids, so I have them as they are. I also found this frog teapot, like a really small tea steeper, and it was kind of cracked, and I knew I wouldn't use it as a tea steeper. I just won't. And so I've used it beside my sink to put the sponge in once I'm done washing the dishes. It's also awesome because once the sponge drips out and it's fully dry and there's the water in the frog's belly, you can just, because it's a teapot, just pour the water out like you're pouring tea. Pretty cool. I also have this green utensil holder that I keep beside the oven, and this silly little lemon ram, I guess, that has like toothpicks in it. And then moving over to our bar area, I thrifted this really cool poker set that has 2 full decks, a bunch of chips, and the set itself shaped like a giant poker chip. I don't play poker, but my partner does. Well, he tries to with his friends, as well as this little wooden frog thing that we use to put bottle caps in. I don't know why, we just started doing it one day, and now he's the bottle cap frog. Also, I have this little salt and pepper shaker collection going on. They're just kind of funny and interesting to me. They're not particularly special. But then lastly, one of my favorite things ever, easily one of my top 3 thrift finds, is this chicken decanter. And it did come with a matching wine glass where the foot of the wine glass was like a chicken claw. And now the first day that I thrifted this, we were having a party that night. And so I brought the chicken decanter out to the bonfire and I set it down on a bench, and it somehow immediately broke off 2 of its toes. And then later that night, somebody broke the wine glass that came with it. So needless to say, chicken decanter has been through a lot, but he still stands tall and he still stands proud. And I am, for the most part, too afraid to use him. I fear I almost forgot another important thing in the kitchen, and it is this cow jug that I use to keep flowers in, and it's got this adorable matching cow cup with it. So that is just about everything in my apartment that is thrifted, or at least my favorite things, the things that stand out the most. Of course, there are a few other little things that are hanging around that are thrifted, but they're just, I don't need to point them out to you because they're not that exciting. Anyways, I think thrifting is important. I think it's important to try to reuse the things or repurpose the things that already exist in this world instead of bringing more things into it that will all eventually end up in a landfill. Thrifting is not only fun, not only inspires creativity and resourcefulness, but it is also just better for the planet. I will always say, before you buy it, try to see if there's somebody else that has already loved it and is looking to give it a new home. I think thrifting is so important, and I think it's so much fun, and I think if it's something you want to try, just try it. Yeah, it's a little dirty. That's what hand sanitizer's for. That's what washing your hands is for. If you can go out and you can use a public bus or a train or a restaurant, you can thrift. It's the same thing. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know about your favorite thrift finds. Leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if it moves ya, and I'll see you in the next one.